You're listening to The J with your host, Kennedy.
Konbanwa minasan. Konnichiwa minasan. Ohayo gozaimasu minasan. And what's up, everyone? You are listening to the J Int Radio Podcast, and I'm your host, Kennedy, and it is episode 2 of Tetsudo Mokei, and that's for Japanese, for railway models. And I think what I'll discuss with this second episode is pretty much focusing on the ways for people to obtain information aside from online on Japanese, the hobby of railroad trains and the various things you can purchase, and also get to know some of the YouTubers from Japan. So the first thing you want to do, and I recommend, is you want to go to Amazon Japan. And one thing that's cool about Amazon Japan is that pretty much, actually any Amazon, your account is global. Granted, you'll have to set up the credit card for that certain region, but a lot of these have a English language option. I also recommend, if you can, especially if you're using Google Chrome, to add the Google Translate app. Or not app, but more of a plugin, so you can translate pages easy. That really helps. But how to explain this to make it easier? Okay. The first thing that you're going to notice is that there are various types of train booklets, and for model trains, and you got your model J train. You have your N. You have this is the classic right here, and this is the Tetsudo Mokei, the original magazine. I think it came out back in the 50s. So, and then you have the Engage, these catalogs or books, which are half magazine, half books, and these are popular in Japan. So you often see them. And actually, I was just looking at a Kato Engage Iron Bridge set. But anyway, let's go ahead and discuss some of these. By the way, I just want to mention that if you are going to order from Amazon Japan, you just have to prepare for the tax of shipping. For one, they are very quick on shipment. There are times when I've ordered many magazines and they arrive within 3 days, sometimes even beating the delivery of shipment of Amazon USA, even if you live in the USA. So I think that's another advantage right there. But I have noticed that during the pandemic, the shipping rates did increase quite a bit. So in terms of delivery and so forth, there may have been slowdown even till now. I don't think anything's perfect just yet, or anything like it was in terms of delivery back before the pandemic. But anyway, let's go ahead and start with actually, let's go with the Tetsudo Mokei here. Okay, so this one is a railroad magazine that started way back in 1950. Or actually, it was started in 1947, but it had an irregular schedule, and then became more of a monthly schedule back in 1950. Founded by Yamazaki Kiyo, and this is publicized by Kige Shupansha. And they do railroad models of various scales and gauges. And pretty much it's Japan's longest running Japanese magazine that is about railway models, and I think it was, if you ask me the question if this is good for those who do not understand Japanese, I think that some people can benefit from it in terms of for the pictures and so forth, but I think that's where the other magazines are more user friendly. This one is really popular for its articles, and these articles, if anything, I think if this like even if it was in English, and how people really like to read the history of a train, this one's really good for those who know Japanese. So it's hard to recommend for people outside of Japan, but just know that this is the classic magazine that's been around for a long time, and it's definitely popular. But what's interesting is that in 1978, they started a supplementary edition of the magazine called Play Model, and it was focused for young people who are into in-gauge railway models. And sure enough, after publishing 12 issues, they created In-Gauge magazine in 1984. So let's go to that. So you'll notice here, you'll see the right here. You'll notice that you'll see these mooks released by them. This one really is what I recommend for people who are living outside of Japan. This is for those who are looking for a magazine full of pictures and information. And the reason why I recommend these mooks is that they're released annually around March 2022, or March of every year, that is. So it collects the best from each year, and I think there's only, I'm not sure if, I think the last I saw in Amazon you could get up to like 3 years worth. But here's 2022, here's 2021. They're about 2400 yen. So since the American dollar is doing quite well versus the yen, you could probably get it for about maybe 19 or 20 bucks or so. So it's a MOOC, it's a digest, so it's a very, very good size collection. I believe 241 pages, so you're getting your money's worth on these MOOCs. So I do recommend that. Let's see here. The other one I do recommend, and this is more of a monthly magazine full of pictures, is RM Models. And this is a monthly model railroad magazine. People call it RMM, but it's the sister magazine of the railway magazine, the Rail magazine, published by Neko Publishing. RMM is something you can find easily through Amazon, and it's probably the cheapest magazine that you'll find, and something that's more user friendly because there's a lot of pictures. So if you go here, you can look at these YouTubers easily, like Susukuma. You can just go on YouTube and see what he's working on. Another one here is Shigamon, another YouTuber. So yeah, this is one of the benefits of this magazine, is that there are a lot of photos, and the magazine focused on a lot of various types of models, from Western style HO gauge to light railway, narrow gauges, and more. So I think if anything, this is a book that you can really go in and search different. Let's see here. Actually, here's a good way to show it here. Like this one right here, this special right here. Usually there's a table of contents you could see, but not in this, on these pictures. But you could see the pictures of dioramas and how people created those. That's a benefit right there. This was the January 2023. That's 2013, but it was released on November 21, 2022. It's actually 2023. Amazon just listed it wrong. The new one's coming out on February 21st, so that's the April issue. And you can see there's a Shinkansen issue. And a lot of back issues still can be found on Amazon, which is a surprise because usually back issues sell out quickly and you have no chance of getting them. So the fact that you can purchase those, the trade magazines, especially for RMM, is very good. The next magazine I'll discuss is N. And this one is published by Ikros Publishing. And what's interesting about this one is that it's only released on the even number months. So you're only going to see it in February, April. No, that's... Yeah. Because this one's August 2022. It's supposed to be even number months. So, yeah, it is even. August is even. Okay. Oh, man. Little brain fart there. Okay, but this is N Magazine. This one deals with model railroads other than Engage. So if you're looking for something that looks, that is published 6 times a year, it's not expensive if you want to order from Amazon once every month, so you can get your magazines, so it won't be too expensive. But I order magazines a lot from Japan, and it's how I pretty much, keep up with trends. So that's what's going on since I write about it. Look at it here. You can see a lot of pictures, a lot of really cool information right here. And let's go right here. We're going to copy and we're going to paste this one right here. Okay, so you can see the various issues. Here's a February 2013 that was released before Christmas. For me, I actually thought about getting this because I wanted to see how this was created. This caught my eye. I kept on looking at these. Right here it says new model special digest. So probably soon to be released products. But again, not too expensive. A little bit more than the other one, than RM. This one's about $15.40. Well, this one is cheaper. But again, it's not Tetsudo. Again, Tetsudo Mokei is the original classic magazine, cheaper, but may not be as user friendly for people outside of Japan. Stick with the N and stick with the. Let's see here, N, J Train, and RM models. There's another one, model J Train. And actually, you know what? I have not read this one before. Let's see if I can get some information on it right now. So it's from Kinokuniya. By the way, speaking of Kinokuniya, Kinokuniya stores are located in a lot of Japanese population, so Los Angeles, New York, San Francisco. They do have stores, and they do have subscriptions that you can go through if you rather order from the US. But do know that they do add the shipping price that it took to get from Japan. So let's say, by the way, these are MOOCs, this Model J train. But let's say that you got this issue, which is about 1540 yen. Let's just say $12 right now. Actually, let's be specific here. 1540 yen to USD is actually $11.74. So it's a lot cheaper. So you can get your money's worth if you're buying in from the US right now and order from Amazon Japan. But anyway, let's say that this one is 1540 yen. So they would add probably $4 or $5 to it. So you're paying, so you'll pay like $14 or $15 in the US, and then they charge the shipping on top of that to send to you. So you could be spending close to $20 just for one magazine. So that's why I recommend going through Amazon Japan. You just have to make sure that your credit card allows for international, there are no international fees. Many cards do charge an international fee, not so much, but maybe like 50 cents or so. I do know, and I wrote an article about this before. I remember one time I went to Japan and I brought a card that has, that didn't support for international, so there would be fees. And I figured, it's okay. It's not gonna be so much. But the more you spend, the higher the fee. And when I came back to the U.S. after, I usually stay for a month or so, I got like a $500 fee because I bought a lot, I spent a lot, but I didn't realize that the higher items really started adding up. So you just got to be careful. Just make sure your credit card supports international purchases, and if it does, you're great. A lot of banks do, especially those like Citibank or so forth. Wells Fargo, I know, doesn't. I'm not sure about Bank of America, but I do know that Citibank and what's the other one that someone told me about? I heard those are good for international purchases. But again, check your bank to make sure your card can handle international purchases and there's no international fee. If there is an international fee, again, it's not that much. It's just that, I think to be safe, for every $10 you spend, think about maybe you'll pay for a dollar or so. So yeah, that's probably the best way to look at it. It's probably a lot less than that, but always be prepared for those international fees. But anyway, these are just going through a lot of the magazines. I do know that for special issues that a lot of people want to get their hands on, this one, the Engage Layout Plan, is very popular. It was released in 2016. It goes for $31.68, so that is $24.15 on eBay. You'll see people selling this for over $50, I believe. So they're charging way more. So I would just order this from Amazon Japan, especially if you're planning to buy a few. So when the shipping is there, it's not so much. So another popular one, actually, you know what? Let's go to the cart. I want to show you an example here. Okay, so let's say that I was going to get these, the 2 MOOCs and 1 magazine. So the price right now total is $93.28. $93.28 is $71 in the US. So you're going to go through your checkout right here, and right here it shows as $109.76. Shipping and handling is $38.40. When you think about the weight, yeah, that is $38 is a lot. Back then, prior to the pandemic, it was about it was about like 17 to 20 bucks. So $38 is a pretty big jump. You want to select here that you're going to be paying in US dollars if you are outside of Japan. And here you get to see the exchange rate. Again, the American US dollar is very good. So right now, $109.76 is actually very good. A very good price for these 5. Even though the actual total is like 72 bucks or so. If usually the Japanese yen is most in the years I've ordered have been very good, but in 2023 the Japanese yen is bad. So for those ordering for America, you're actually getting a good deal right now. So think of it that way. But again, it's really not too much, considering if you are into this hobby, you're probably spending a lot already. So anyway, let's go ahead and we're going to get out of here. Okay, there's a few things I saved. Here we go. Here is another popular one, the Engage Railroad Model Layout Textbook. This one is about 224 pages. So this is another popular one. It's only 1980 yen, which is not that much. Another one would be this one right here. This is an Engage, another MOOC, but this one deals with photography. And if you're wondering how they get those really cool covers with the cool clouds, like right here, this one right here, you can see that here is the equipment. Here is how the diorama was built. Here is the island, and here is the blue reflection that kind of gave the color of the water to make it even more blue. And it was used for the Kato catalog for 2020, as you can see right here. So it shows you how that was made. And yeah, just pretty much a good detail. So that is that. Another one that's popular is this one on the diorama. If you are in the US, and this one shows you how you can build a variety of things, and it's a really useful book. Again, it's not that expensive. $16.50. That is about currently $12.58 US. So again, it's not that bad when you consider the cost and how the US dollar is much better right now. I know a lot of people tend to get the you can type in English and it'll automatically translate. You just have to make sure you select Japanese books. Did I spell that right? Oh, Kato, not Neko. Okay, here it is. Okay, so this is the latest Engage catalog for 2022 to 2023. The next one will be coming out in July 2023. So just to let you know, if you are into the catalogs, you can order it for a lot cheaper from Amazon Japan. There is one thing I do have to mention, and I think it's this one. Okay. So the 2023 Kato catalog was released, and a lot of people did make complaints. I was reading it, and people were saying that they switched to a cheaper paper for 2023 versus previous years. So it's not as good as before, and a lot of people shown their disappointment. You can always see the translate review here and right here. As you can see, to put extremely the contrast low, like print on plain paper. Lower paper quality than before was used. The image product is now unclear because of the paper quality being reduced. So you see people complaining about the paper quality. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And also another thing that's useful for Amazon Japan. Let's say that I'm looking at prices, and in this case, okay, here it goes. I tend to do a lot of diorama, so I get a lot of, especially Japanese ones. So I like to look up the buildings. Again, if you don't know Japanese, it's okay because they automatically translate, as you can see here. It automatically translates from English to Japanese for the search. So that's very useful. But again, it's good to look for prices, but you cannot order physical items. That's one thing that with Amazon Japan that they you can order. I think the physical items, the best you can do is probably like music CDs, which I've done before, and a few other things. But yeah, a lot of physical items you cannot order. It will tell you that you can't order from that region. So the best thing to do is look on eBay and then compare the prices. So let's say this one right here, or actually, okay, here's one right here. And this one is probably the thing that kind of irks me quite a bit, because I love purchasing Japanese building for diorama. But this is $1,300. This is under $10. Okay. And if you were to go to eBay, so you see it for close to $26 and then $11.74. I mean, it's not that bad, but that's like $33. You say to yourself, are you willing to pay that extra amount? And sometimes when you look at it and you say, wow, so cheap, you look at it and you see some of these sellers and their percentage is not that great, so you tend to have to spend a little bit more. Not to say that person I just looked at was bad, as just more of other people. But yeah, that's something to be wary about. Another thing is when purchasing through Japanese railway models, you'll see a different number of companies that you could order from. The most popular, of course, is Kato, and pretty much next is Tomix or Tomitech if you look online, and then there's Greenmax. Greenmax has been around, I believe, since the 70s, and they've always been about creating these plastic models that you put together. In the past, people had to paint them. Some you still have to paint, but now they're coming with pre-painted trains, and they also release a lot of buildings, which I do order. Tomix is very popular, and yeah, I think the question for a lot of people is, should I get Tomix or should I get Kato? And you're going to hear different opinions from people, but what it comes down to is that both have different details. Kato has a little bit more detail, but to spend for that detail, you are paying a lot more. So one of the things that I've been researching a lot as of late is wondering if I want to go with to try out a Tomix railroad set, and some people say that in terms of look and realism, Tomix offers the best, but because they're more sensitive, they're only good for those who want a more permanent layout. I don't want that. I want to be able to disassemble as much as possible. May it be to mess around and create different dioramas and borrow this track for this track and this track for that track. I want that ability. So that's the only reason why I stayed with Kato. But a lot of people who have been using those flex tracks from Tomix like them, and you can use a certain type of I believe, what is it, a railway, is it adapter or something like that, to use Kato tracks on Tomix tracks. But again, I haven't used it, but I have been considering of using it, because the reason why is it would be great if you can mix and match, because Tomix does offer a lot of variation when it comes to trains or train tracks that Kato doesn't. But again, there's positives and negatives for each. Kato has more positives, but in terms of it's not overwhelming, because both are very good. It's just that in terms of parts and durability, most professionals who are into it say that Kato is more durable and great if you tend to want to take them apart and take apart often, especially if you want to put it on a floor area. But if you are a person who is looking for a more permanent, if you're making a permanent diorama and you just want a track that'll do the job really well and looks great, the Tomix tracks are definitely worth getting. So this one I put here, and this is the USA Gundam store. While they do specialize in Gundam and paint, you will also find Tomy Tech. Or my goodness. Wait a minute. Here's one. Yamazaki, which is a popular convenience store. There we go. It was one word. Okay. USA Gundam store is great to find Tomy Tech buildings. You get them really cheap, and if you do that, if you allow for text ordering, you could get it for, you get your 10% off, but you literally get the price of what these are sold in Japan for way less. Like, for instance, they did have the Family Mart, and the Daily Yamazaki's here. 7-Eleven was not there. It's $17.99. You pay for this on eBay, it's going to be $40. Another one is you got this soy sauce shop, $14. Again, you go online, probably close to 40. Here's another one, a corner shop, $18. And then you got this large overpass right here, $18. That is a great price, especially this building right here. This A2 building is insane for this price, $17.99. Considering a lot of places would charge you up to $56 for that. They also sell this scenery. I contemplated it because of this, not so much of this other stuff, but I did contemplate getting it for $12. This one is really interesting because it's 19, and you get this. I wanted this, but yeah, it's a pretty cool scene. But this is a coal bunker and water tower. Good if you're making a traditional scenery. This one is a pedestrian deck, still in stock, and this one is the Shinto building. I want Shinto Shrine A is what I'm looking for, but both tend to be very expensive. I've been wanting to include that in the diorama. They also have this more for the Gundam look, but as you can see here, they had other sets here. The City Transport, the Family Mart, this building, Countryside Building Collection. So definitely check out the USA Gundam store. You could get a lot of stuff cheap right now, and you get your 10% off. But again, there's a lot of stores that sell Kato parts. They have sales on them. Check on eBay. A lot of those American stores or even the European stores have an eBay store, and they sell there. But yeah, I think eBay is probably the best way you're going to find anything in terms of trains. Unless you go to Japan and you go to a lot of train stores, you find a lot of stores throughout Japan who sell used products to new products fairly cheap. So the only reason why I don't really go crazy is because of luggage space. And for those of you who have been in Japan before, there's a certain weight of the 50 pounds per luggage, and of course you got your carry-on bag. There's only so much you can put in there, especially with the boxes. So, but yeah, that is pretty much that's pretty much what I do recommend right now. There are a lot of train magazines for those who just like trains in general. You could find that. But again, if you're looking for a monthly magazine, the Tetsudo, oh my gosh. Now, the Tetsudo Mokei magazine is pretty much inexpensive. It's only 1,000 yen, which is like $7.50 or so. Too bad they don't usually put the don't put the contents, but again, a lot of people read these for the articles, so that's probably the popularity of this. But yeah, now again, RM models are still around. The catalogs are still around. But if you can, pick up these Engage mooks. The Engage magazine, I believe it stopped back in 2015, but it's still going on with these mooks, and they do provide a lot of good information, a lot of pictures. It's for those who want to if you really want to try a Japanese publication, railway model publication, give these mooks a chance. Definitely give the RM models a chance, and also give the Engage magazines a chance. So actually, let's go ahead and look at I was looking, well, this is June 2022. Here's April 2023. As you notice, they have the cherry blossoms. So I think this one's going to be cool if you do want to make your own sakura cherry blossom type of location, because it's actually beautiful to see when you are riding on a train through Japan, and especially during late March and April. Especially if you're in the Kanto or the Kansai region, you get to see the cherry blossoms quite a bit. Otherwise, up north, you kind of have to wait because it's colder. Probably wait about a month or so. But other than that, yeah, everyone, I hope you have a good time listening to this podcast. I had a lot of brain farts, so I'm sorry about that. But anyway, you all take care. I'll see you later.